some attacks on politicians and using of hate speech during campaign, as well using religion and ethnicity to overwhelm the space of the polity. It is worrisome. But if we can remove out that, we can easily say that we are going to have a free, fair and inclusive election. The problem of Nigeria is not manifestos of the political parties. I can tell you that, make research, you will find that the people, if not all of them, some of the people who wrote the manifestos of APC, the ruling party, are now with Peter Obi writing the same thing. And some are with Atiku writing the same thing. And some are even with Konkoso writing the same thing. We have people who can sit down and design manifestos that, if truly followed, we are going to be next to America or Britain. But the problem is empty promises. Empty promises are the problem.
Ralph Waldo Emerson. He's an American essayist, lecturer, philosopher, abolitionist, and poet. He once said, "Write it on your heart that every day is the best day in the year." Great. All right, our next quote is from Oprah Winfrey, an American talk show host, television producer, actress, author, and philanthropist. She once said, "Cheers to a new year and another chance for us to get it right." Our last quote is from Brad Paisley, an American country music singer and songwriter. He once said, "Tomorrow is the first blank page of a 365-page book. Write a good one." Wonderful. Absolutely spot on. Don't you just love these quotes? I do love them. Now let's see how all of these quotes relate to what we will be discussing today. Very warm greetings and welcome to The Conversation. We're reaching you from KAFTAN's television studio here in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Annabelle Oji. Now, piloting in a new year comes with tons of excitement, anticipation, and, of course, champagnes. Whether you're choosing to clock in 2023 with a resolution to brazenly live your best life on earth, or an inspirational toast to lift everyone's spirit for this next chapter in their lives, then raise your glasses and let's drink to that. Cheers. Now, the much anticipated year 2023 is here. Daola. And I'm so glad that you made it through. I'm thankful to God for you and yours. And once again, thank you so much for a very wonderful 2022. It was an exhilarating year for all of us. So here on KAFTAN TV, and we say thank you so much to our esteemed and most revered viewers for your support all the time. Now, on behalf of all of us here at KAFTAN Television Abuja, we wish you all a very prosperous, productive, energy-filled, and joyous year ahead. Happy New Year, people. With love from me to you. Cheers again. So, let's kickstart this wonderful year with our guest on the show today, Sheikh Muhammad Nuru Khalid. He is an Islamic cleric, popularly referred to as the digital imam. You'll get to meet him after this time out. Join us again. Welcome back. If you just joined us, this is The Conversation. We'll be reaching you from KAFTAN's television studio here in the nation's capital, Abuja. Now we'll go straight to our discussion for today. We have on the show, our guest is Sheikh Muhammad Nuru Khalid. He is an Islamic cleric, and he's always referred to as the digital imam. It's good to have you on the show, sir.
Thank you very much.
And Happy New Year to you.
Same to you.
Great. All right, now let's talk about start with politics. What's your read of Nigeria's political space at the moment? Finally, 2023 is here, the much talked about and anticipated a year, and now politicians are beginning to count down to the elections in minutes. In fact, some of them are even counting down in seconds. So from where you stand or sit, as the case may be, what are your interpretations?
Well, we have to first of all thank the Almighty for keeping us alive and keeping us one as a nation despite the challenges. But looking at the political space, we also have to appreciate the Nigerians who are willing to discharge their civic duty to come out and vote during the election. And as well, the politicians who are vibrating the space. But there are some signs of worry about what will happen during the election.
Okay, please share with us.
Because some attacks on politicians and using of hate speech during campaign, as well using religion and ethnicity to overwhelm the space of the polity. It is worrisome. But if we can remove out that, we can easily say that we are going to have a free, fair, and inclusive election that will be acceptable not only for Nigerians but at the international level. But that cannot be done if we don't meet the standard of the international standard of free and fair election. And if I say free, I mean that which there is no attack, no crisis, no vote buying. And you may be aware that for now, some politicians are bragging that they have money, they will buy the election. And I think this is not safe for our democracy.
I quite agree with you. You've actually touched on a lot of salient points that I will definitely unbundle later on the show. But now let's talk about various political parties and then their flag bearers. We have the APC, the PDP, NMPP, SDP, Labour Party, ADC, all of them. Now, what's your assessment of these political parties and their presidential or their flag bearers? Any chance of Nigeria actually getting it right this time around, or like some will actually target as tomato, same difference, 6.5 dozen? There's no difference. So what is it for you?
Well, for me, there will be a difference. Nigerians have a choice to select, even not the best, but somehow it could be if we wisely choose or elect the best out of what you mentioned. We are going to have a new dawn for Nigeria, a new first, and a new hope. You know, Nigerians are prayerful. We have that hope always that things are going to be better. But the challenge is very, very high. Therefore, one thing about this election is that the expectation of Nigerians is becoming low. We don't expect more from the leaders looking at what they are or how they came to the space. But despite that, we are going to say if we wisely vote the right candidate, we are going to have a new face in our democracy.
So even despite the fact that there might be a new person who would become the president or the CEO of Nigeria, it actually still doesn't mean a lot to Nigerians, saying that they don't have so much expectations.
Of course, because of experience. Look at the anticipation. Look at the kind of hope, the enthusiasm, the optimism that we had during the coming of this administration, especially at the beginning of the first tenure. But what is the result now? People are getting no more hope in this administration. It's going to end like that. And now, people are asking questions about what happened, why the failure. The promises were very excellent when they came. But what happened? The morale died at the very beginning of the administration.
That's in 2015?
Yeah, in 2015.
Okay.
What the Nigerian expected from them, to me, is not what we are seeing now. High inflation, high level of insecurity, impunity, high level of corruption, and what you have, falling of education system, lack of health care, poor infrastructure. Try going to Kaduna tomorrow or today. Follow the road and look at what happened to the road. We have to accept that, thank God the train returned. But what do Nigerians think about it? That is what we want people to understand, that, look, despite all the challenges, come out and discharge your civic duty as a Nigerian. Vote someone. We must vote someone. But don't expect that you are going to get the best.
Oh, wow.
We can get a better one, but not the best. Because of what the political parties bring out, what they brought out to Nigerians, what they presented to us, the process of bringing them out as candidates.
That's the primary elections.
The primary elections. We know what happened. Is that what we can call a genuine democratic process? The huge money spent during the primaries, the alleged vote buying that happened, is that the way to have a clean democracy? If the process of the primaries wasn't so good, how do you expect the general election will be the best one? And with the braggings of some politicians that they have money to buy the election, this is a threat to a free and fair election. Therefore, we have to agree that, yes, we are in trouble, but we are capable of fixing that trouble if we are curious about knowing the way.
Okay.
And the only way is to revive that patriotism in us. Let's do it for Nigeria. Not for any section, not for any tribe, and not for any faith.
Now, from what you just said, I have like dozillions of questions to ask you. But now let me ask you 2 questions, and I'd like you to unbundle them in one breath. Now, let's talk about this administration. They're winding down already. In the next few months, days, in fact, weeks, they will be leaving the ASO villa. Now, when they did their assessments, multiple assessments that they've done, the retreats and the ministerial retreats and assessments that they did, they actually gave themselves thumbs up. And then you have President Muhammad Buhari saying that this administration have actually delivered on a lot of things that they promised Nigerians. And then they gave so much, they ticked so much right boxes. So for you, would you actually say that with all of the promises that they made, fighting corruption, stabilizing the economy, and then fighting insecurity, and all other promises that were made, would you actually say that they delivered to Nigerians that promise that they made in their 8 years of administration? That's one on the side. And then the second is, we've seen so many political parties and so many presidential candidates come up with their manifestos, 80-page, 50-page, and so forth, saying what they're going to do for Nigerians and when they become the president. Now, does it actually mean that because you said that we should not have so much hope on these people, so with all of them giving so much campaign promises now, does it actually mean that it is just the same hogwash? They will not, definitely it's just campaign promises, and that's what it is.
Well, let's start from the last question.
Okay.
The problem of Nigeria is not manifestos of the political parties. I can tell you that, make research, you will find that the people, if not all of them, some of the people who wrote the manifestos of APC, the ruling party, are now with Peter Obi writing the same thing. And some are with Atiku writing the same thing. And some are even with Konkoso writing the same thing. We have people who can sit down and design manifestos that, if truly followed, we are going to be next to America or Britain. But the problem is empty promises. Empty promises are the problem. And this will go to the first question, which is very important. You have said it that they have given themselves, wow. How can you assess yourself? Let somebody do it for you. If you are genuinely passing an examination, don't come out from the whole of the exam, the whole of the examination and say, I am now A. I pass with A. You can be just marking yourself. That is why there must be an examiner that will mark any person who wrote an exam. To me, there are 3 ways in marking the performance of our governments.
Okay.
The first one, which is very important, is the international communities, the international organization. If you are talking of corruption, we have international bodies that are watching every country and marking the performance of that country. Take an example, the Amnesty International. These are the bodies that can give us mark to identify the performance of any government in the world. Look at their index. What is the position of Nigeria in fighting corruption? We have
Transparency International
and the rest. And coming to deliverance. We have bodies like the WHO, World Health Organization, UNICEF. They have index of our performance as people. They have a kind of explanation of what is our position. Let me tell you, I know you are aware of it, that Nigeria had succeeded to become the world capital of poverty, overtaking India. Now, this had recorded in the international body index. The second organ that will mark the performance of any government is the citizens of the majority citizens of that country, especially the common man, the common citizens of that nation that you find in the street. What are they saying? Are they celebrating the situation? And the last thing that will mark performance of a government is the economy index of the state. Officially, Nigeria had brought out a statistics of the poverty index of the country.
Last time we checked, last year was 133 million people were plunged into poverty.
You see? So is there anything to celebrate like this? And this is the first time I had a new poverty name that I can't find easily in the dictionary. Multidimensional poverty
index.
What is that multidimensional poverty? And you see the rate of corruption. If you don't even look at the index or the index of the international community or organizations, look at what happened in the last year when the Auditor General of the country was allegedly charged to steal trillions. And look at what is happening between a member of the House of Representatives from Kazauri and the presidency. What kind of corruption is this? In a nutshell, what I'm saying is that they don't supposed to mark themselves, but let Nigerians talk about them, especially after they've left office.
Quite an interesting statement that you have made. But before we continue, let's still go on with politics. Now, what are your thoughts on the political, or a particular political party deciding to go with the same faith ticket, which has actually drawn a lot of dust to the polity? A lot of people have argued about it, but then they seem to damn the consequences and continue with it. And then they said, regardless, we're not choosing religion, we're only choosing competence. What's your read on that?
Well, if they have chosen competence, I will congratulate them. If really they have chosen competence. But what I'm saying, if we are matured enough, there wouldn't be anything religion in our polity. We had Muslim head of states and his deputy, vice head of state or assistant, whatever they call it, during the military regime of Muhammad Buhari. And the best election so far in the history of Nigeria is that of Moshood Abiola. I hope you understand this.
Sure.
The best election so far in Nigeria. The most free, credible, and fair election in Nigeria was the one of Moshood Abiola, and it was Muslim tickets. But there wasn't shouting that time. Nobody, according to my understanding.
So why is he raising so much dust right now?
Because we have something to hide. We don't want to. We have nothing to use. We don't have any banner to cover up that shame, except we bring out something which is very hot, that will take the senses of Nigerians.
So who are the we in this contest? Nigerian people or the politicians?
And I mean, well, you can take it from the politicians, it's better.
Okay.
They want to, there is a proverb in Hausa which says, the shy, if you have a shy to cover, you can only cover it with madness. So now there is that shyness in this country that people, the expectation of Nigerians was not met. Nigerians are tired, are even asking, is this situation the price of our votes? So if the campaign will be an issue-based campaign, an ideological campaign, without, changing the atmosphere, boiling and vibrating the space with religious and ethnic issues, Nigerians will quietly and adequately ask questions about, have you given us the price of our votes? Was there any dividend of democracy, genuine dividend of democracy? Have we enjoyed any dividend of democracy in the last 8 years? Nigerians will ask these questions, and they don't want Nigerians to be asking this kind of questions. Therefore, what will they use to take away the senses of Nigerians?
So it's just some mere diversion, right?
That is a diversion. If not, what is there? What is Muslim ticket? If they win the election, will that change the position of Nigeria as a secular state? No. Will all the governors become Muslim because the president and his vice president are Muslims? Is the National Assembly going to be is our national anthem going to be removed and the Quran will be recited during any opening of the programs? The answer is no. They are going to work with our constitution. And as such, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any difference. If they say they have choose competence and they have nobody in their political party to present other than these two people, then let's see whether Nigerians will accept that competency.
All right. Let's talk about something else, about INEC. Now, we have INEC has actually warned political parties, and it has explicitly, in fact, it was explicitly provided in the new Electoral Act that politicians and political parties are not supposed to take their campaigns to religious centers. But then you still have, we've still seen most of them who violate that clause of the Electoral Act. So what are your reactions to it? And have you actually welcomed any of them who decide to use your platform to preach their campaign promises to your followers?
Well, I don't use my platform for campaign. I don't want to. And I did not see it adequate. I only caution Nigerians to be mindful of good governance. When voting, let's look for competent, capable, and as well determinant Nigerian that will take Nigeria into progress, not backward. That will move Nigeria forward, not backward. Why are they using religious bodies as a campaign centers? I've said it earlier, they don't have anything to offer Nigerians. They have failed. That is the reality of the matter. If you don't fail in organizing your campaign very well and making it ideological and an issue-based campaign, you don't need any political center. What is the essence of having a political rallies and town hall meetings? The essence is for you to gather those who are going to vote, the voters, to educate them, to educate them, to enlighten them, to inform them about your manifestos and ideas. Why will you come to a religious gathering and turn it to political gathering, asking people to vote you directly or indirectly? Why is it that we don't see your pictures in the mosque and the church before, but now during the campaign, in every hour, in every day, in every week, you check the social media, you will see this candidate at in the church and that one in the mosque. We don't need this as a nation. If really we want to make our democracy a religious one, let's bring two or three party systems.
Okay.
Muslim, we can call it Islamic political party, IPP, Christian political party, then traditional religious political party. Let's do it that way if we want to make it a religious campaign. But in as much as the constitution of any political party is that there is no difference of religion. And the constitution of Nigeria said it clear that no political party, no political party will engage religion as part of its manifesto. Then why are we changing it indirectly? Because we want to become a lawless society. We have laws for the masses, and there are some who are above the law. Let me give you an example what happened in Britain. You know, the then Prime Minister was out of office because of what? Because he organized a gathering during the lockdown of COVID-19, right? I was opportune to look at one of the investigations. A commissioner of police asking the Prime Minister, Mr. Prime Minister, did you think that British has two laws? One for the others and the other for you? Let me remind you that Britain has one law for all Britons. That is a real country where you have one law and everybody must be binding to that
subject to that law.
Or must be subject to that law. And the best place to show that is the political space. Because these people are bidding to become the leaders of the country. That is why I was worried whenever I see them signing peace accord.
Just as if you know what the next what I was going to ask, or the next question I was going to talk. In fact, like you just took it out of my mouth. But let's go on a quick break. It's obvious that Sheikh Nuru Khalid has a lot to say today. And we will unbundle all of that after this time out. Please stay.
This is a country where people are dying day in, day out because of lack of peace. This is a country where unity is trying to be absent. The country, some people are trying to tear it apart. And as well, at that time, you find someone bidding for to become the president of Nigeria, but he don't understand that he need to mind his language. And you tell me that things are okay. Things are not okay in this country. And people must understand that our democracy is in danger, is in as much as people will be talking anyhow. When you have the bill of hate speech, why do we have it? We must do something.
If you just joined us, this is The Conversation, and we are reaching you from KAFTAN's television studio here in the nation's capital, Abuja. If you just joined us, you've actually missed out on a whole lot, but then you can still join in the conversation. Our guest on the show today is Sheikh Muhammad Nuru Khalid. He is an Islamic cleric, and he is popularly referred to as the digital imam. All right, before we went on that break, you've actually touched on quite a lot of things, but then because you talked about, you landed with the peace accord that was signed by this by the various political parties and their flag bearers recently, last year. So now let's talk about this recurring attitude of politicians. I know you said that earlier when we started the show, this recurring attitude of politicians always throwing tantrums and jabs at each other or threats at the electorate publicly, and then instead of telling people what they have got to offer them or going in when they're being voted into power, but then you just see them making these statements and hitting the polity. And then on the other side, when you find them at their private space, either at the hotel lobby, at the airport, the VIP lounge, you just see them cracking jokes and laughing out loud. And then you begin to wonder, these are the same people that were just on their throats, at each other's throats recently. When you ask them, they'll tell you that it is all just political semantics, political sloganeering, they call it campaign shenanigans or political brouhaha. They just give it different names. So now, even when they are aware of the provisions of the Electoral Act, that's Section 93, what is it explicitly talked about. Now, what are your reactions to all of this? Even looking at the fact that they are still the same people that signed the peace accord. Is it that they don't even know what they were signing into?
I can't say they don't know what they signed for, but I will say it is very unfortunate for the country called Nigeria. Look at the motto of Nigeria. Look at the end of the second stanza of the national anthem. You will find two things, peace and unity. And this is what they are playing with, telling us that is a political burahaha. Check other countries, those the beloved countries, not countries that are serious. Will you tell me that they don't know how to campaign? Or they don't know what is politics? Why are they doing it in a peaceful way? Besides, when you see a mother and a father seated in front of their children, signing peace accord, that from today there will be no fighting in this house. What will you think about that family? Is it normal family? That the children are telling the father and the mother to live in peace? Is it not the parents that will tell the children to live in peace? Now take the political aspirants that are aspiring to become the president of Nigeria. Now, some citizens, concerned citizens, asking them to come and sign that they will keep Nigeria in peace.
In peace.
That is to say that they don't know the essence or the meaning or the importance of peace in Nigeria. And someone is telling them that there is a component that will bind us together, which is peace. And you don't know it, but come here. Let me put it to you. Sign that you have accepted. Was that not the meaning? Can you give it any other meaning? It is a pity. It is very unfortunate. This is a country where people are dying day in, day out because of lack of peace. This is a country where unity is trying to be absent. The country, some people are trying to tear it apart. And as well, at that time, you find someone bidding for to become the president of Nigeria, but he don't understand that he need to mind his language. And you tell me that things are okay. Things are not okay in this country. And people must understand that our democracy is in danger, is in as much as people will be talking anyhow. When you have the bill of head speech, why do we have it? We must do something to enlighten them, to inform them that, look, you are leaders. You are not ordinary citizens. Whether you win the election or not, you have something unique that makes you different from other citizens because you are a leader. A leader is somebody who knows where to go, who can take the lead, who can lead people to progress, who can identify problems to his followers. Not somebody that will wait for the followers to tell him the direction.
I quite agree with you. Now, like some people have actually stated that when these comments are made by the electorate, they call it hate speech or cyberbullying. But when they're made by politicians, it's now called political brouhaha and political semantics. It is really sad. All right, now let's. How would you actually rate the activities of the electoral umpire, the security officials, even though we have seen various reports of attacks on government facilities, on the INEC facilities? Would you actually say that and agree that the electoral umpire, INEC, and the other various security officials or officers, would you say that they are at the top of their game at this moment?
Well, if we say they are not on the top of their game, we are now trying to question the genuity and the fairness of the election even before the election. But we can say that they have a lot to do more.
Okay.
Because they are the most important organ of the election. If you don't have security during voting, and some people snatch box, intimidate one another, or threatening one another, then the election is not peaceful. Therefore, the security personnel must be encouraged to do more and make sure that our elections are free and fair.
Okay.
But it can be free and fair, and the security personnel or agencies will not be marked as doing their best when the election or when some political parties have used them, as the case may be in some times in history. And the INEC must do more to make sure that the process is clean.
All right.
And how it's going to be clean is that all the gadgets must work adequately and materials should reach the places of voting on time. And results must be announced immediately, no delay. If that happens, we congratulate them, and we are going to accept the election or the results as people, and celebrate it, because it is the verdict of the citizens. But without that, it's going to be trouble.
Right, now let's talk about voters' apathy that has actually been a major bone of contention in our elections before now. Do you actually see that being a bone of contention that could crop up again in this election? I'm going to ask you two questions, and that's one on the side. And secondly is, what kind of message do you give to your followers? Because I know that you have quite a number of them. You have quite a number of followers, and they listen to you. In fact, religious leaders and traditional leaders are mostly revered by their followers, even more than the government, because of that, no thanks to the trust deficiency that exists between the government and the governed. So with regards to this year's election, PVC collection, maintaining laws and order during the elections, no vote buying, no votes trading or vote buying and all of that, what kind of message do you give to your followers?
Well, let's start with the first question, political appetite or voting.
Voters' apathy.
Appetite. Well, it's very unfortunate that there is a slide back a little from the citizens concerning to come out and vote. But it's not that worrisome, because for now, we are working tirelessly to make sure that we've changed the narratives. And this will lead me to the second question. What kind of message am I giving? You may be aware that I hosted as the chief host of the youth presidential debate to participate and give a message. And I am the chairman of Value Your Vote Niger. Our assignment is to tell Nigerians not to sell their votes.
Okay.
You know, we have a lot to do. And if you follow my teachings, especially on social media, you will see that always I'm trying to balance the equator. People say that I speak truth to the poor, because I don't discriminate when passing truth message to the people. And in that regard, if we look at the issue of people to come out and vote, I always say to them that it is a civic duty. Go and vote. Don't sell your card. And I always crack joke with them, telling them that for me, I'm ready, ever. If you come now and ask me to vote, I will bring out my voter's card and I will vote now.
Awesome.
That is how I do my example.
You should lead by example.
Yeah.
Great.
So that people will be encouraged. But we have to tell the politicians, they are the one who are discouraging people. The law says don't sell your vote. The law says don't buy votes. But the politician will come out and say, we have the money to win the election. What does that mean? Why can't you just use capacity? We have the capacity. And capacity is very
broad.
Yeah, you can say that. But if you said money, what will you do with it? Buy people votes or what? That is it.
It is sad. Now let's shift away from politics and talk about other things. So, are there hopes or prophecies and goodwill messages for 2023 that you would like to share with us and to your followers who are watching us right now?
Yeah, 2023 is gonna be difficult at the beginning, but inshallah, we are optimists that things are going to be good, especially from the middle to the end of the year.
Okay.
Especially when there is a new government that is very concerned, that is ready to do something for the masses. I say a new government. I didn't say a new political party or anything, but I said a new government because whether it is the winning party, the ruling party is coming back, is a new government. Whether it is the opposition party, the popular one that is coming back, is a new government. Whether it's a new from the two parties, not the major opposition or the ruling party, but a minor opposition party will come back. The same thing is equally a new government. But the concern is the person that is ready, is capable, is willing. The person that has the capability and ability, the knowledge, the technical how, and who will bring people that will help him, not that will hijack him and block him from the people.
All right, so now February 2023 is just around the corner, and where would your political compass be tend towards?
I reserve that comment.
All right, now let's leave politics and let's still talk about the New Year resolution. You have, at the moment, you have a lot of people who have penned down their New Year resolution. For some people, it could be abstinence, it could be self-discipline, it could be integrity, accomplishing a particular project. That's different people, different strokes for different folks. So is it okay to have a New Year resolution like the beginning of the year? And how can one actually work towards accomplishing that resolution that they have penned down?
Well, it is quite good to have a New Year resolution, because it is just like having a plan that I was going to do this and that. And to accomplish that, you need to know how to work it out by having the skill of tapping from your potentials. We have a lot of untapped potentials that we need to tap them out. The issue is we don't want to learn, we don't want to work, we don't want to
and open to change.
We don't want to change, we don't want to associate. If you have the potentials but you don't know them, you are in trouble. If you know you have the potentials and you have identified them, but you don't want to work for them, with them, then you are in trouble. If you know how to tap your potentials, have the skill of doing it, have a plan, make it a workable plan, a timely, workable plan, but you don't want to associate with others to
like collaboration.
In collaboration,
Okay.
to expand the scope of your accomplishment, you will not get there.
So how do you actually find out, for those who actually know that there's the skills there, but they don't know how to find out that skill? How do they can they actually find it out? And at what point is it okay to keep tabs and keep checking if you are working towards your accomplishment or out of your accomplishment?
There is the importance of consultation. You need to consult somebody who is knowledgeable in the area you have trouble.
Like having a mentor.
Having a mentor. And this is, information era. there is no information that you cannot acquire. Even by the use of your handset, you can ask questions on the net, Google it out and tell your trouble to the world. You will get the answer. And that is how to make it good for your life.
Awesome. So, and if you end another year without ticking the right boxes, does that actually make you a failure, or can you actually dust yourself up and then try again?
Well, they say failure is a blessing if you learn from it. Therefore, if we can learn from our mistakes, a failure is just a key to success. Learn from it, ask questions. Why did I fail in the first attempt? How can I avoid the same mistake to be triumph, to get that accomplishment? And who are the possible people that will help me to reach there? These are questions that you must ask if you want to learn from your failure. But at the time when you ignore your failure without learning from it, then you are not going to get there. Because the Almighty designed the world to have 3 days. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Yesterday is meant for lesson. All you have seen yesterday is a lesson. And the lesson for yesterday is to use today appropriately so that you build tomorrow. That is today. We learn yesterday, we utilize the knowledge today, and build a better tomorrow. That is it.
All right, even as our time is fast spent, we'd like to get your last words to the viewers out there on a fresh start, a new beginning of the new year, and also would like to end this edition with a prayer to kickstart the journey to a new, prosperous, and productive year ahead.
My words to you over there is make 2023 a year of love, tolerance, and sacrifice, so that we have a peaceful 2023. My prayer is, may the Almighty send down His mercy to Nigeria. May the elections be a success, and may the new government take us to the promised land. May our economy become stronger and our security become so high so that we live in peace. Thank you all.
Amen. Thank you so much for it's actually been a wonderful time here having this discussion with you. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge, like as if we could just go on and on and on. But thank you so much, Sheikh Nuru Khalid. It's been a wonderful time having this talk with you.
Thank you.
All right, viewers, that's all we can take for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. We have been chatting with Sheikh Nuru Khalid. He is an Islamic cleric, and he is also referred to as the digital imam. I'm sure that you have been rightly educated, entertained, and informed on this first day of the year. So with all that he said, please pick up the baton and run with it. And I will see you in a very productive year ahead. It's definitely going to be a good time for all of us. Keep watching The Conversation, because you never know who my next guest will be and what my next topic will be all about. Till I come your way again, the nation's capital, Abuja, I am Annabelle Oji. God bless you and yours. God bless Nigeria.